Hey guys, Mrhappy here, and welcome to Mondays with Mrhappy episode 5. It's just a weekly Q&A show that I do to try and connect with my viewers in another way. Answer questions that I get all the time on my YouTube comments, my Facebook messages, Twitter, everything. I just try and cover what I get asked the most. So I'm going to look at the questions below last week's video, and then I'll look at a few other questions from some previous videos and see if I can get to those as well. Before I get started though, I would like to thank Ayalia Callis and the Mrhappy company for donating me a Canon FS100 camera. It's really good. I've been testing it out. I got an SD card for it. I just need to get a compact power adapter so I can actually upload things. And I'm going to be using this to record my trip to the fan festival. So I will have footage for the fan festival. Just wanted to add that announcement in there. Also, I wanted to thank everyone. 10 million views on my YouTube channel. To some people, doesn't seem like a lot, but for me, it's a milestone. I want to thank you guys for watching my videos, continuing to watch, and hopefully you enjoyed this one as well. So, without further ado, let's go to episode 5 of Mondays with Mrhappy with some Q&A. So I actually got a lot of questions about Blue Mage, Musketeer, and Red Mage, which is actually why I released that video, Top 5 Jobs I'd Like to See in Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. But these questions are a little bit more in-depth, so I'm going to read one of them, and it's pretty much going to cover like half of the questions on the last video I did. So I read Yoshi-P really likes Blue Mages and that it may be released after the expansion. Does that mean we won't see Musketeer for a while? Also, what does a Blue Mage even do in your opinion? Is it a good class? Now, Blue Mage could come out whenever. He said he didn't want to sort of ruin the idea of Blue Mage, where he wants them to be this job that goes out into the world and learns their abilities from enemies. What they would actually accomplish with that, though, it's hard to say. I mean, they could really accomplish any job in the game. They could be tank, heal, or DPS if they could learn all the moves that are out in the world. They could learn damage reduction moves, they could learn stuns, they could learn DPS moves. So it's really hard to say if they would even fall into one role. Somebody asked me what I would think about having a Blue Mage fulfill all 3 roles, but they could only fulfill 1 role at a time. And I was sort of okay with it and sort of not. To me, it kind of felt like, oh, well, if they can do all 3 roles, even if they can't do multiple at once, or they can't do multiple at once efficiently, they may be less effective overall, just so we don't end up with parties that are just full of Blue Mages for progression because they're capable of doing everything. There has to be some sort of drawback to that being able to do everything. They have to make sure that they don't take away from the other jobs that are already in the game for those roles. As for Musketeer, we don't know when Musketeer is coming, but Yoshi-P did say that there is a gun job that they are going to be talking about soon, which most people are assuming the class Musketeer will be a part of the gun job. And he's also said that the gun job itself will be not what we're expecting, considering he says we're getting a new tank and a new healer in the expansion. Or he hasn't said that outright, but pretty much he goes to say, please wait until we announce expansion stuff. So it's hard to say, but Musketeer probably become a tanker, DPS, or a tanker, a healer even. Maybe a DPS, but I couldn't really say. I think I've gotten this question on the last 2 weeks, maybe even the last all 4 weeks I've gotten this question. Do you like milk? No, I actually don't. I mean, I'll put it in things like I can have chocolate milk, or I'll put milk in like a protein shake, or I'll put milk in my cereal, but standalone milk? Ugh, no. Here's another one. Here's another great one, just like that last one. Mrhappy, what is the answer to this question? Well, what is the question to my answer? Yeah. Here's another interesting one, because I haven't seen this asked in a pretty long time. Do you think that warriors are still getting the pre-2.0 thinking from Paladins? Because I feel them. I'm assuming by pre-2.0 you mean pre-2.1. 2.1 was when warriors were sort of taken and modified to be a little bit more effective. A little bit more effective. Less of a healing machine and more of a healing and mitigation machine. If they are, I don't know why. Some pugs are more comfortable with a paladin because hallowed ground is a savior. You know, if you're working with, there's something that somebody said, to this day I can't remember who was the person who said this to me, but I've agreed with it ever since. I'd rather have a bad paladin than a bad warrior, but I'd rather have a good warrior than a good paladin. And I've agreed with that ever since, because a good warrior, I mean, don't get me wrong, a good paladin is great. They can do a ton of damage, especially if they're off tanking, and their mitigation is solid. But a good warrior, it's just they're able to accomplish a lot, and that's just the way I think about it. So anyone who's doing that probably just values hallowed ground very, very highly. Here's another good one, because I think I actually did a full-blown video about this. What other primals do you think we will see in the future, with the exception of Shiva, of course? Now, Yoshi-P has made it pretty clear that the original 6, once they're done, they have plans. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be more primals after that, But in 2.5, I'm honestly expecting we're going to be fighting Fenrir. Either that, or I hope we get some sort of expansion on the way that Odin sort of fits into our world. It feels like he was introduced and then just completely not given a role. He keeps coming back, he has a purpose, he has a history, and I just feel like he's completely underwhelming for what he is. So I'd like to see us actually get a real Odin fight, a patch dedicated to Odin, even if. I think we're going to get Fenrir in 2.5, just based on the way they've sort of taken the original 6 from Final Fantasy XI, and they also have Carbuncle as well. I have a feeling that Fenrir is coming next. His art is even in the Collector's Edition art book, and he's one of the few things that we don't know where. Him and Typhoon are pretty much the only two things left in that art book, where we don't know where they're going to appear. Typhoon, we've been given sort of an idea in patch 2.3 that we'll probably see him in patch 2.4. Fenrir, I have a feeling we won't see him in 2.4, maybe 2.5 though. This is an interesting one. I think I've been asked this once before, but I don't think I had an answer for it then either, and I think it was on the live stream. How do you think expansion packs will work in regards to players who have both the PC and console version of the game on the same service account? Will you buy it once and it's active for the whole service account regardless of what platforms, or will you have to buy it twice? You know, it would be pretty lame if you had to buy it twice. You already have the base game, and really all you did by buying the base game twice, once on the console, once on the PC, was you just gave yourself access to log into either or. So why would you need an expansion for both of those? I don't know, but that's a good question. We should ask that on the next live letter, because that could be pretty important. I'll ask that when I go to the fan festival for you. Alright, I think I've actually seen this person comment on my video. This name seems really actually, maybe it's an anime name. I don't know. My name is Michael as well. My question is, what does the 1227 that I see you use stand for? If it's what I think, your birthday, then oddly enough, my birthday is also December 27th, 1986. That would be extremely odd if we were both named Michael and both had the birthday December 27th, because that is my birthday, and that is what the significance of the 1227 is in my name. Except that I'm 1990, you know, I'm a little bit younger. Turned 24 this year. This is another good one. When do you think the Gold Saucer will be released, and which minigame are you looking forward to the most? So, Yoshi P said in a recent interview that it will be out before the expansion. He said that it won't be in 2.4, it'll be somewhere in the series, though. That's what he said, the series. Now, I'm sure somebody else knows what he means by series better than I do, because to me, a series can be anything. Could it be the 2.4 series, you know, 2.45, 2.48, whatever? Or does it just mean 2.x series? I think it means 2.x. At some point before 3.0, we're going to get it, though, basically. As for the game I'm looking forward to the most, Chocobo Racing. It's got to be Chocobo Racing for me. I suck at Triple Triad. Have you not seen me play Triple Triad in Final Fantasy? You go watch me play Triple Triad. You'll understand why I'm not excited. Well, this is an easy one to answer. Surprise Job coming out the same time as Rogue Ninja? No. Another good question. Do you think SC is making everything too grindy? Not really. I don't grind anything and I still get everything done. Some people look at something and they see, oh, I can grind for it, therefore I must grind for it. The only thing that is really grindy to me right now is the Zodiac weapon. Nothing else has really seemed that grindy. I guess if you wanted to level your Chocobo, that's technically grindy, but you don't even have to do that now. If you have a house, you can just do the Chocobo stable, and soon you won't even need a house to use the Chocobo stable. You can just use the Chocobo porters. They'll have basic stable functionalities as well. So, no, I don't really feel like I've had to super grind for anything. Some things, actually, I kind of ignored grind-wise, like the grind to rank 40 PvP. That was definitely a grind before Frontlines. But I've been able to take at it slowly ever since I changed to the adders. I'm rank 16. I play like a couple of games a week. And I know that the challenge logs are fantastic for leveling once you get past rank 30. So I don't know. When something is a grind, I don't necessarily sit there and grind it. You know, if it's something that I can do, but it's not something I need to do to progress, then I don't really try to burn it all down at once. Some people do, some people don't. But to me, it's not very grindy. This is another interesting one. Now that you're doing these Q&A, do you feel like people are asking you less questions in your live stream and such? Not really. I mean, first of all, I didn't get the live stream for like 2 weeks between my corneal ulcer, me losing my voice from throwing up because they put me on Percocets and all they did was make me sick. I didn't get the stream for 2 weeks, so I guess that it's kind of hard to really see if that trend has happened. I've only streamed maybe like 4 or 5 times since I got my voice back. So, but not really. People still ask a bunch of questions, but it's a lot of conversation. Like we ask a question, we start a conversation, we discuss it, and then we move on. and then somebody trolls me and I rage at them and I ban them from my chat. So, listen, I don't mess around with stuff like that. You come in, you troll me, you're out of my chat, bottom line. This one I only have one thought on. Do you think there should be DPS jobs for tank classes with buffs that reduce enmity? I'm sorry, but when you say that, I know that Marauder is a good example of what it could be, but then I think of what it would be like for a DPS based on Gladiator, and I just feel so bad because spamming Rage alone when you're tanking's bad enough, but now you want me to spam it while I'm not tanking? Oh. I mean, yeah, they could do it. If they ever do a DPS job that branches off of them, they're gonna have to, really. So, yeah, it could happen. I could see it. This is another one that I actually have a pretty strong opinion about. Mrhappy, how would you feel it if Ishgard became a starting city with its own classes and if they expanded Coerthas for lower level players starting out there? You know, I've always wondered, I mean, I understand why not, but when an MMO comes out, unless there's a new starting area, there's this stigma that every new area in the game needs to have enemies that are stronger. It's like the farther you are away from your first few starting cities, the stronger everything is. And it never really made sense to me, you know, why everything absolutely has to get stronger based on your distance from that. I like when sometimes that is kind of thrown off, like it's not literally just a wave of difficulty that that differentiates as you leave the starting city. So I think, yeah, they could do that. Another housing area in Ishgard would also be really cool. I know that could be a little bit difficult to do, and honestly, if Ishgard was snowy, I don't know if I would want to live there unless it thaws out at some point. So, yeah, I mean, I guess they could do it. I don't see why they wouldn't, but it would have to be pretty substantial. Like, you would have to have a way of getting from Ishgard, and then they'd also have to rewrite the entire starting story, the first 15 levels at least, because traveling from Ishgard to another starting city is a lot different than traveling between the first 3 starting cities. Well, I mean, with an airship introduction, I guess it would be okay, but I feel like you'd be a little bit limited if you wanted to leave Ishgard before 15. Kind of like the way you're limited if you start in Limsa Lominsa. You can't just run to Ul'dah and Gridania. You have to do the level 15 quest. So, I'm 50-50 about it. Alright, I'm going to quickly switch over to Twitter and grab a question from there as opposed to one under the YouTube videos. This one says, at Mrhappy1227, what's up, man? Question for Q&A Monday. What did you do before streaming and YouTube for work? Well, I was a college student for the most part. I spent 3 years at New Jersey Institute of Technology. I also did 1 year online at Kaplan University. And then I worked in New York City as an internal help desk kind of thing. Like if people are having trouble with their computers. If you've ever seen the show The It Crowd or The IT Crowd, pretty much that was my job. And you know, I helped set up SharePoints, I helped information organization, I helped the project managers. I pretty much was just the internal help desk bitch. Everybody asked me for help and no matter what I had to do it. So that was my job, but I was let go because in March of 2013, Vodafone bought out the company I was working for, and they decided, hey, we don't need 3 IT people, we only need 1. So let's leave the senior employee in and get rid of the newer guys. Kind of surprising. You'd think they'd keep the newer guys so they would pay less. But who knows? Now I'm doing this and I'm happy. Alright, I know I usually just say one more, but I actually saw 2 questions here that I really, really want to answer. The first one is about Bloodborne. What are your thoughts on Bloodborne? Is it a game you're interested in playing? I love Dark Souls. I love Dark Souls 2. Demon Souls I liked, but I couldn't finish it. I played it after Dark Souls. But Bloodborne, I haven't seen enough of it yet to know, but the concept to me is something that is very interesting. So, yes, I am interested in playing it. And the second question that I wanted to answer was something that there is a spoiler here. Something that I'm expecting. Actually, it's more of a prediction, speculation, but it may be slight spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers for the end of the story for A Realm Reborn, then mute yourself until I do this. When I do this, you're good to turn your audio back on. So, Mrhappy, in Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn, what do you think is going to be the final boss of 2.x end before 3.0? Are we going to expect something like Ultima? I mean something like epic. I know you don't mean like Ultima weapon, like again. First of all, Omega. Omega's a big one. We already pretty much expecting that for a few reasons. Again, trying to keep it a little bit less spoilerific. And, but the big baddie I'd imagine is Zodiark. I can't imagine it being anything but Zodiark or Omega Weapon. Maybe Zodiark will possess Omega Weapon, and then that'll be the Omega fight with I don't know. There's a lot of different options it could be, but the two big ones are definitely looking to be Zodiark or Omega Weapon. One of the two. Alright, spoilers are over. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's Q&A. Also, again, thank you for the 10 million views, and thank you for the camera. Again, Ayalia, Kalas, and the Shinra Free Company. I have it up right here because I can't remember Ayalia, Kalas. I can remember Shinra, but not that. So, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Mr. Happy Mondays. Next week will be episode 6, and next week, Destiny will have been out for 6 days. So hype. I almost said so hump. Anyway, so hype. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.